So I did promise a cooking video. Well, I'm not going to set up a load of cameras. Let's do it quick. This is going to be a really quick meal, but restaurant quality. Impress somebody, want to throw something together that's very tasty. You can make this a vegetarian version, but you will have to accept the fact there's a lot of dairy in it. But if you don't like cheese, don't like pasta, it's not going to be that brilliant. But it is going to be quick, it is going to be tasty, and there might be a little bit of booze in it. You can leave that out as well. So it's chicken Alfredo, restaurant quality. No set ingredients, use what you got. You can leave mushrooms out. I chopped up about half a dozen mushrooms, 6 reasonably sized mushrooms. This is some parsley. It can be flat leaf or it can be the curly parsley. It doesn't matter. If you don't like parsley, leave it out. If you like a different herb, chop it up. Rocket would be good, something different. Onions, there's about 3 medium-sized onions there, chopped as finely as you can chop them. I didn't do a great job, but hey. 3 cloves of garlic, or was it 4 or was it 5? I can't remember, it doesn't matter. You might be able to hear the dog barking, the lawnmower's going. Hey, it's crazy time. In Alfredo, it's unusual to use dried chili flakes. I may or may not just throw some of those in. It's traditional to have fettuccine. I couldn't find any, so we're going to use tagliatelle. You can use spaghetti, you can use linguine, you can use any pasta you want. Other ingredients, a little bit of oil. Chicken, I've just cubed 2 breasts up. I think 2 breasts is probably enough for 3 people. Some butter. You could use olive oil. I just got some cheap grated cheese. This is cheddar. You don't have to put cheddar in, you could just stick with Parmesan, but we're going to go with this one. And I've also got a block of something similar. I mean, it really is open to your imagination. There's no definite amount, so I'm just going to fry it in. I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and I'm kind of sure it'll be fine. Oh, of course, a bit of salt and pepper as well. Oh, look, I've got this Himalayan salt. Okay. Let's start putting it together. Okay, there's gonna be 2 parts to the cooking process. Well, I suppose 3 parts. We're gonna cook the pasta, we're gonna cook the meat and the mushrooms together to start with, and then we're gonna take it out of the pan. Why am I using this grill pan? God knows, really. It's just happened to be the first one big enough that come to hand without pulling all the cupboards out. So really, any big frying pan, wok, anything you got is fine. So anyway, let's put a bit of oil in here. Not too much, it's just to stop it sticking. Very easy. I'm really just bringing you on this journey, making my dinner tonight. So I'm going to turn this around and for a few minutes. Okay, so while I'm turning that over, I did forget one very important ingredient, and that's double cream. This is a large one. What should we say? This is 600 millilitres. So about a pint, I suppose. About a pint of cream. It could be whipping cream, thick cream, really any of those. Single cream is no good because it could curdle under heat. So well, that's why we're going with this one. Okay, the sunlight is coming through the window, so excuse it looking very white. Strange. But anyway, we're going to add the mushrooms now. Not the onions and the garlic, just the mushrooms at this point. What we're doing is just cooking this through, and then I'm going to remove it from the pan. We want these nice and soft and cooked, ready for when the sauce is cooked, just to drop it in and warm the mushrooms and the chicken through. There we go. While I've been standing here stirring this, I was thinking if you wanted to make it a vegetarian meal, you could just leave this out, just have mushrooms. But what would work really well is Indian paneer cheese. It's a very solid, not particularly flavoursome, but if you cube it, you can actually buy it cubed. You fry it first until it's brown. So you could actually just replace the chicken with the paneer cheese. You then again take that out away from the heat, and then you add it to the sauce later on. That would work really well. A little tip, if you're not too sure if the chicken's ready, or at least cooked, just take a piece out, cut it in half. Now that is juicy, but cooked all the way through, and that was kind of a big lump that I just cut in half. So, little tip there. We're going to throw that back in. I'm going to remove that from the heat. So, boiled up the chicken for now. So a little bit more oil in the pan. Go too crazy. I'm going to add some butter into that very, very soon. But first of all, oh look, the cooker's looking a bit grubby, don't mind. This is garlic and onion. I said I think there was about 3, 4, oh, I left half there because I thought it was a bit too much. 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, 5, 6, who was counting? It's your personal choice. I like it quite garlicky. And it's surprising because it's a cream sauce, it will suck that flavour out. But there was about 4 or 5 onions, I believe, medium size. But again, as many as you can. Chop it as, to be honest, I don't think I chopped it quite small enough, but I don't mind them like that. Into that translucent point, nice and soft. I don't want the garlic to burn, so keep it moving. While I was doing this, I was actually thinking another great replacement for the chicken and the mushrooms would be some finely chopped red peppers and also some shrimp, some king prawns would be fantastic. Those you wouldn't need to add, well, you'd need to cook the peppers out, but really the prawns only need warming through in the final sauce. But whatever you like. This is an easy recipe, you do whatever you like. Still, I need the other hand to carry on stirring. Okay, it's getting reasonably translucent. The garlic is starting to brown a little bit now, so I'm going to add some butter. I haven't really worked out how much butter, but I don't know. Let's start with that. Yeah, it's going to be low calorie, this. So, what the butter will do is drop the temperature down a little bit because it doesn't fry at such a high temperature as the oil. And it will start to emulsify with the waters in the onions and the sugars and start to be the basis of the sauce. Soon we're going to add the alcohol. Woohoo! Now this is frying well. All the onions definitely cooked through, softened up everything. We're going to add some alcohol. I happen to have some martini. I saw a recipe where you can use a vermouth, or vermouth, however you want to pronounce it. We happen to have a bottle. You could use white wine, you could use brandy in here at this stage, you could use a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of bourbon, a little bit of masala wine would be fantastic, sherry, Chinese cooking, alcohol, whatever you want to do. Sadly, when you put it at this time of the cooking, it's to get rid of the alcohol. If you were using a little bit of wine, a little bit of martini, you could add it later on straight to the cream if you want to give it a little bit of kick, but really, for the best flavour, this is going to be the time to do it. Well, I've made an exception, because I am making it up as I go along, obviously. I've decided I'm going to put the chicken and mushrooms back in at this time. Give that a stir. Incorporate all those garlicky flavours. Excuse the dodgy camera work, it's not the easiest. Really must set this up and think this out. I was just really thinking, because I'm cooking this today, it would be a good recipe to stick on my YouTube channel, because you know, people might have a go at it. There's lots of recipes for Alfredo on YouTube, but I do like this one, and it really is whatever you've got you can use, and whatever you want to leave out you can. It's a shame really that martini, oh, we're all a bit steamy in here. Martini, fantastic in cocktails, but it smells wonderful. So, you know, a little bit of lemonade in the summer in the garden. Looking a bit pale, aren't they? Never mind. I thought I was going to take a swig, I'm not. So at this point I'm going to put the alcohol in. As I said, whatever you fancy using. About 2 tablespoonfuls. And a bit more for luck. So that's all the alcohol burning off. But all those lovely flavours. The nice thing about martini, it's got herbs and spices and fortified wine in it. So it does bring a lot to the game. But a nice Italian white wine, or any white wine, would be great. You don't want too much though, because you want to be able to thicken the sauce later on. You won't do that with lots in. I've decided. Another little drop. Okay, so I'm going to turn that around for, give it a stir around for about 3 or 4 minutes. You might be able to tell that the temperature's dropped off a little bit now. We're cooking it down. This is going to be so full of flavour, perfect for pasta. The pasta's just going to suck it up. which leads me to the pasta. Salted water, we're going to get that to the boil, drop the pasta in. It doesn't matter what pasta I'm using, tagliatelle, you can use fettuccine, would be brilliant, spaghetti, linguine, shells, macaroni, anything you want to use really. I've added a few chili flakes, not a lot in there, still mixing it around. We're going to add the cream in a moment. A little bit about the hot water, just salted water. We're going to bring it to the boil, we're going to drop the pasta in. A lot of people add butter and oil at this point to the water. That does actually stop the pasta absorbing the moisture so quickly, and therefore it can go a bit soggy before it's actually cooked, if that makes sense. But you know, probably not the best idea. It's best to bring it to al dente, then add oils and butters and things like that. I definitely remember as a kid this double cream being a lot thicker than it is, but hey, this will do. Now I was thinking I might need 2 of these, but I don't think I do. So I've got an extra one to go with the strawberries later on. We're going to incorporate that and we're going to get this to a boil. So cream in, that's great. I've added some parsley, just a little bit, just you know, just a couple of bits, and we're going to mix that around. Now as it's starting to heat up, it's starting to thicken. It's not ready yet, we want it a bit thicker than that. We want to get it to a point where when I run a spoon like that we can see the bottom of the pan, but it is starting to thicken up. You've got to be careful because it will boil over. I'll tell you a secret, I did just put a couple of more slurps of the martini in. I tasted it, it tasted great, but for my taste I just want a little bit more alcohol in it. That is still going to be boiled off, so it will just leave more flavour in there. Of course we've got the cheese to come. I may or may not add some more butter, depends on whether it's getting thick. On a bit of a rolling boil now, or a simmer more than a boil I suppose, but I'm still mixing this in because I want these corners getting in, and that depends on what pan you got. This pan tends not to get so hot at the corners. Now you can see it's starting to get thick. As I'm drawing this, you can actually start to see the pan through. That means it is getting thick, and it's near enough there, look. I don't want it much more thicker than that, so the cheese is going in. Here we go. I haven't quite decided how much cheese. This is just cheddar, but you don't need to put cheddar, I just happen to have some. I don't want to overdo it. This is the Parmesan or the hard Italian cheese. Go a bit more with that. Most of that just went on the cooker. Brilliant. Alright, let's give that a stir. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. About medium heat. Oh, well, that's smelling fantastic. I can smell that cheese coming through. The garlic, the cheese. I did put a little bit more parsley in it. Fabulous. So we better get that. We'll turn that down so it's just going to simmer away. We're going to get the pasta on. Of course, what we're going to do is when the pasta's cooked, we're going to move it from there to there. Some water will come, it will thin this down a little bit. I'm going to taste it. In fact, let's do chef's fingers. That doesn't need any more cheese, it's perfect. Okay, I've decided a little bit of salt and pepper. Now you could grind some black pepper in this. I'm going to use a little bit of white pepper in the cooking process and then black pepper at the table, just to preserve the colour of the sauce. This is for seasoning, not for show. Let's get some of this salt in. A pinch really, or maybe another pinch. There we go. So the pasta's boiling away. The sauce is simmering. It's ready to go really. We've got some parsley there just for finishing off, and we've got some Parmesan on the table. Oh, and a wine glass. Woohoo! And some pepper. Here's another little tip. The sauce is starting to get a bit too thick actually, so what I did is just add a spoonful or 2 of the water from the pasta. The starch is in there, a little bit of the salt, it definitely won't hurt, and it very soon gets incorporated in the sauce and thins it down. Perfect. Okay, the pasta's al dente, ready to rumble. You could put this in a sieve or a strainer or something, but I'm just going to go for it. How much pasta did I use? Well, use as much as you think, really. I think actually this sauce, I've probably got more sauce necessary for the pasta. This is only for 2 of us tonight, and I think actually it could have fed 3, maybe even 4 at a push. But in our house, nothing goes to waste. get rid of that. And what I'll do here is just stir it in before it all gets stuck together, and without trying to drop it all over the cooker, because I am brilliant at that. That's the timer. That's a little bit of garlic bread I slipped in from earlier on. Oh dear. One-handed. Leave this way, let's see how we can get this dished up. Again, difficult to do it one-handed. So we do it. YouTube, you have to wait for me. Okay, served up. A little bit of parsley on the top for good measure, just to make it look pretty and professional. And why not stick a couple of garlic breads on there. So there we have chicken Alfredo, Jason Early style, a little bit of Italy in sunny Berkshire in the UK. Hope you have a go. Let's see your pictures, let's see your videos. From me, nearly forgot, have a good one. Bit of parmesan, bit of black pepper to finish. Now, what do I deserve? I know. Chin chin.